Um, I just figured I would show this battery bank that I have here. I actually mounted it on just a pallet that I had put together because obviously it's a couple 100 pounds worth of batteries, and it's nice to be able to move it around with the forklift. um, and I don't know much about battery bank setups. I've never done like a full blown, off grid solar setup or anything. But I'm basically just wanting to fuck around and learn with shit and what have you. And work towards getting myself a very large bank. Most people do not use Group 31 batteries for uh, a lot of very good and valid reasons. I have chosen to use Group 31s because all of my vehicles take Group 31 batteries. And like you can see here that these two and those two are a match set of PACCAR ones. And then those two there and those two there are a match set of batteries as well that we took out of a truck. And I've been saving cores, like automotive battery cores, for a while, so that when an opportunity like this comes up where we are asked to change batteries in a truck, that I can keep the ones that we take out and turn in other cores. I also am personally very much a fan of these screw terminals. I much prefer that to the lead post. But that's not why I'm making this video. What I was curious about to see if other people have had experience, thoughts, comments, concerns, bitches, moans, complaints about is that currently I've got it set up in a 24 volt configuration. Um, and well, let me unplug that charger right quick. I got this little Power Max charger that the fan came on. But yeah, so currently wired in 24 volt. That lead right there is what runs to the inverter and the charger. And then that lead over there also runs to the inverter and the charger. I've got the ends of the batteries connected in parallel on either end, like you would normally expect. And then these here are the jumpers um, to put the individual batteries into series, so that I get 24 volts from there to there. 24 volts nominal, which of course right now is what, 27.5. Um, I originally did not have these three wires in there that put both of these banks in parallel on like the individual circuits, if you want to call it that. But yeah, I did not originally have those, and what I had found was that the individual batteries would essentially like drift. Their voltages would drift, and they would kind of just be all over the place. Because the overall group was always in parallel with the end connections there, each rack of batteries, would be, say, 26.4, 26.4, 26.4, and 26.4, but it might have been, you know, what, 13 volts and 11.4 or weird shit like that. Don't necessarily quote me on the numbers, but just suffice to say that even though the batteries were all similar voltage across the rows here, in the individual racks, the batteries would be different voltages. And just in adding those jumpers to put the center section in parallel, and I went through and equalized and charged, well, first charged, then equalized all of the cells, and all of the cells are topped up on water. That seems to have made a big, big difference in how balanced these batteries are. And that that's better, I suppose. And so we got 27.3 overall, and then 1365. Well, what do you know? 1365. And so, yeah, I guess I'll try and show that better. 1365 on that group. Not really necessary to move that one, but I will. 1364. Well, fuck me. 0.01 of a volt out. But obviously very, very close. And obviously it would be best to have all brand new batteries that all came from the same batch and so on and so forth. And you can see like these here, these all the Packard ones of 4 of 22, thankfully they're all the same. But then these are actually Duracell batteries, and these are all 3 of 20. And so the 4 Duracell batteries, that was water that I spilled earlier. The 4 Duracell batteries are all the same batch, and all the 4 Packard batteries are all the same batch. Obviously, it would be best if every single one of the batteries was brand new and out of the same batch. But at least for me in my area, 8 brand new Group 31s are about $1,300, and I paid absolutely nothing for these. These were, cores out of a truck. In the case of those Packard batteries, they weren't actually that bad, and they didn't necessarily need to be changed. But talk to the owner of the truck, and he's like, "Well, yeah, fuck it, just put them in there." And it's like, okay, like thank you for the cores, kind of deal. And yeah, told him like doesn't really need to be done, but that's what he wants to do, and his truck, his money. So yes, sir, and we will do it. And so for the purpose of right now of just trying to fuck around and learn and what have you, I am using these used batteries here. But at the same time, surprisingly enough, they actually seem to be playing very well with each other and getting along, if you will. And I just added these center parallel jumpers tonight. And after, maybe a week or something like that, I'll pull all the connections off and test the batteries individually and see how they're doing individually. But so far, just in a little bit of testing that I've been doing, this seems to be working quite well. But anyways, so yeah, try not to spend very much money on it at first, just, so that I can fuck around and learn. And if I'm going to make mistakes, I'd rather make mistakes with free batteries and not very expensive batteries. Also, too, all of these connections, like all the, ones that are essentially similar, are actually all used welding cable. And those are all 1/0. These here are brand new. And the center parallel connections are brand new cable. And I bought that brand new and that brand new. So I think I paid $325 for the inverter. It's a VVOR 3500 watt pure sine wave inverter. And I think I paid like $150 for the charger. And then, I don't know, just for round number's sake, say that I got $150 in battery cable. I milled my own lumber for the lumber that the pallet is made out of. And, just for round number's sake, say there's $50 in screws in it, because I got some rather expensive screws in it. And I wasn't tallying that up as I go, but, I've got $600 into this or something like that. And if I learn the appropriate way to do this and learn a configuration that works, then, it'd be well worth it to go out and buy brand new batteries for this and keep this as a backup power for the house. But also, now I'm thinking that because it's on a pallet and because I have a forklift, that it'd be kind of slick if you were to go out on a job where you knew you needed a bunch of 110 volt power. Say, the job was to run an angle grinder for a couple hours or something. Whatever. It'd be pretty slick to, just throw this thing in the back of the pickup and use this and not have to listen to the welder running. if um, if somebody hasn't heard of it yet, there's a company out of British Columbia, Canada called Edison Motors that is working on, well, they have built a diesel electric hybrid logging truck, and they're making retrofit kits for trucks, but also for pickups as well. And I mean, as soon as it's viable and as soon as I can afford it, I would love to get a fucking Edison truck. But, maybe in the meantime, a couple, you know, salvaged parts between the, used welding cable and the old batteries and, a couple $100 in Chinese electronics. And maybe I can get close to that, at least for 110-volt purposes, anyways, for the time being. But yeah, if anybody's got any input or whatever on this, has experience doing something like this, the internals of these batteries look pretty bad. I don't know I don't know what sulfation on the plates looks like. These Packard batteries, especially, they actually look corroded on the inside. It looks to me like, steel that's been sitting in salt water or something like that. I don't know exactly what the deal is with that. I'd be interested to try some of the like desulfation chemicals and what have you. Um, I've got some other Group 65 batteries that sat at very low voltage for a long time, so I'd assume that those are sulfated to hell. And again, I got them as cores, so no harm, no foul if I fuck them up. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe this gives someone else some ideas, and hopefully I can get some ideas from some of you guys about what do you think of this.